Hello, I'm Lee Spohr, and I'm from Team New Forest, living in Preston, in the UK.
I'm Ian Patterson from Team New Forest, living in the New Forest.
And welcome to the OhioRAAM Show.
Thank you, Lee Spohr and Ian Preston from the United Kingdom for that introduction. They're members of Team New Forest. They take their name from the forest that was originally set up as far back as William the Conqueror back in 1079, and the area has been in royal hands ever since. Quite a delightful place. One of the best days of cycling my wife ever spent was on our tandem as we were traveling from Salisbury down to the coast at Swanage and took a loop through this mystical place known as the New Forest. Lee and Ian will represent Team New Forest on the OhioRAAM Show on May the 7th. And this is the OhioRAAM Show, a show about cycling and ultracycling. I'm Lee Kreider, the host of the show, and along with Maria Vasquez, who will join me a little later. Now, the dates for the 2018 race across America is starting in Oceanside, California on June the 12th with the solos. The team riders start on June the 16th. And that means that the racers will be passing through Ohio starting on June the 19th and continue 24 hours a day through Saturday the 23rd. And one of the great things about viewing the race here in this part of Ohio is that the teams are starting to catch up with the solo riders, and so there's a lot of action around our time stations during that period of time. Come on out and join us. And please check out the show notes that you'll find underneath each video. There'll be something more there about the guests that we have on the show, and also some other important information about ultracycling. Well, we have some news. On the last show, we had an introduction from Chris Hoppo Hopkinson, who was in the process of setting a Zwift world record on his stationary bike. We thank him for taking time for that. His record was set by 2,202.3 miles in 143 hours and 45 minutes. What a remarkable record. But then it's Hoppo. We expect that out of him. Our last show was in Ireland, and we've now crossed the Irish Sea over into England, where we visit with Rus Kesley, who will be riding solo in the Race Across America 2018. We'll also visit the Midlands, where we have Tori Eakins, and then up to Scotland with Russ's sponsor, Michael Goldie. So we tour the British Isles from south to north today.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, thanks.
Yeah, we're all well. All good, thanks.
Awesome. So we have Michael, we have Tori, and we have Russ. So I think that Russ is our writer. How are you, Russ?
I'm very well, thanks, Maria.
Oh, I hear you well.
Yeah, the sound's coming in better now.
Yes. So, Russ, I would love to. I read something about your participation. Race Across America, right?
It was a kind of an idea that came together on a bike ride down to Gibraltar, funny enough, with Michael, with Ride of the Lions. The year before that, I was lucky enough to survive a tumour scare on my adrenal gland. Mm-hmm. And one thing took off after another. Bike riding helped saved my life. I guess it precipitated the tumour. It made me fit enough to survive the tumour, and I just started cycling after that. And that kind of led to being in the Race Across America. It started off on a hospital bed, thinking, I know I'd like to do that, as you do. And we've been very fortunate. I'm hoping we've got a great team together. Michael's made it possible for us to do it, and Tori's managing it. The idea is to raise money for two charities, and I was very lucky. I benefited greatly from one of the charities. The name of the tumour is not Welsh. It's not. It's a pheochromocytoma.
There we go.
So it was an adrenal tumour, which releases adrenaline. So I was saying it's a very rare condition. It's part of the neuroendocrine tumour cancer family. I was lucky to survive it.
And I was wondering, how did you find out? How did you feel anything, like the symptoms straight away, or?
Well, I was very lucky because adrenaline is part of your fight or flight system. It's part of your autonomic nervous system and your endocrine system, which releases adrenaline, which controls your resting heart rate and your blood pressure. So a lot of the guys who will be doing RAM this year are guessing their resting heart rate will be around 50, 45, 50. Mine's probably up near 60, 70.
Wow.
When I was taken into hospital, my resting heart rate was 160, and that was sitting down. My resting blood pressure, which should be 120 over 80, was 250 over 120. So I should have gone pop, and I didn't. So I consider myself very lucky.
Is that is it over already? Like,
yeah. They took it out. I was in hospital for intensive care for 2 weeks. Well, we're very lucky to be able to do RAM, but it's possible, and the fact we can help the two charities is largely down to Michael Goldie and Portal Securities. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. So many thanks to him. And also Tori Eakins, who's, I'll let her introduce herself, but she's been amazing. I'm very much an ideas person, and Tori came on board and she said, right, you need to do this and you need to do it this way. And I was like, okay.
And I
It
understand.
wasn't quite that bad.
I understand Tori said the chief, right? The crew chief?
Yeah.
Yes, she's
Yes.
good.
So, Michael, I'll be with you in a moment. So, Tori,
Yeah, that's
how are
fine.
you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
I am excited that you are the crew chief. It's a woman, yes. So
Girl power.
I know. So can you tell us a little bit about you and how you know Michael, Rus, and how did all this come up?
Oh, the idea was all Rus. Okay, so about me, in my adulting job, I work as a personal trainer and specialise in endurance nutrition. So originally I was being brought in as nutritionist and camp cook. And in my non-adulting job, I crew cycle tours, I cycle guide for different companies, I freelance. So crewing something like this is something I do, although I've never done RAM before. I didn't quite tell him what he needed to do. I suggested a few things he should probably maybe do. Well, I'm really excited about the crew. In particular, we've got, like you said, we've got Janice and Jim Schufelt from Alaska, who are, 3-time. Well, she's ridden it solo, 2-person crew, and crewed it. Her husband's crewed it 3 times. So we've got some amazing experience with those two.
Well, say hello to them, will you?
I will. Yeah, I will. And then we have Laura. She's an osteopath. She's going to be the physical therapist on board, keeping him mobile and going. We've got Lewis, who is an amazing mechanic. Well, between us, we'll keep you going. Then we've got Lewis, the mechanic. We have a gentleman called Gary. So he's used to driving around Europe, and we're also waiting on clearance for another guy, Scott Woodhouse, who's in the British Army. He crewed with Alberto Blanco last year for Joe Frank, I believe. So we're hoping he's on board too. I don't think have I missed anybody? I don't think I have.
How many are there?
We have 7.
So, but it's your first experience in RAM.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
The things I've crewed have been over in Europe and France and Italy and England, and you prepare for everything and hope for the best. There's so many different situations that can go on in something like this. As long as you have an idea in your head of kind of how you would deal with anything that can come up and be able to adapt accordingly.
Michael, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thanks.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about you and your journey with this group, and how did you meet Rus?
Well, I'm at Rus. I'm also sort of ex-rugby sort of background, ex-physical sports. And then as you just get too old and battered to play any of those, you know, I met an ex-rugby guy I used to play against, and he said to me, "Oh God, you're getting fat. Do you want to do this charity ride?" So I said, "Oh yeah," thinking it would be a wee, 100-mile around Scotland, but it ended up was a Land's End to John O'Groats. So we thought, okay, so we smashed that, got in training, did that in 9 days, and then I get involved with the Ride of the Lions, which is now called the Ride of the Legends. We know, Rus and I know quite a few ex-pros and professional rugby players. So they said to me, "Oh, well, why are you riding for them? Come along, ride with us. We raise money for different charities." And then on one of these rides, this is where I met Russell. Just came about. He was, I knew he was doing Racing Across America. Don't know a massive amount about it, apart from it starts at one side of America and goes across the other. Seen a few people's attempts and not made it. Seen James Cracknell's attempt, who, unfortunately got injured. And a conversation came about, and I said, "Well, we've had, pretty successful year business-wise. If you want us to get on board," he said, "Well, I'd love it." And then here we are.
Scotland were playing England on Saturday. So I thought it'd be a good idea to cycle up there in 48 hours. I thought it would raise awareness of what we're doing and raising the money for charities. On the way up there, we had Chris Hopkinson. He joined us from Selby up to Catterick.
Rus, I would love it for you to talk to us a little bit about the charities. And by the end of the show, we will have the links to it. So if you want to talk a little bit more about it.
Okay. Well, we're going to try and raise money for two charities. And that's really the main goal, in raising the debt between for riding from the West Coast to the East Coast. The two charities, one that helped me, Oxford Hospital's charity. It's a great charity. I'm a physiotherapist, and I've worked with a lot of patients with M&D. And my fiancée, I'm getting married later this year. My fiancée, she works in a hospice, and she sees a lot of people with M&D, and I have as well. So we've set a target of raising some money, and it's quite ambitious. A lot of it's going to be through.
Is that something you share? The ambitious number, or?
No, it's fairly ambitious. I think you've got to set your goals high, and if you don't set your goals high and you fail to achieve them, at least you've had a go.
For those charities, there will be links in the show notes, which will appear right below here on the video. And if you're watching on YouTube, in the description box below the video, you will see a link to these show notes. So be sure and check those out. There'll be some other information there about the team and who's on it as well.
All right. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Tori. Thank you, Rus. Thank you, Michael, for joining us.
Thank you, Rus, Tori, and Michael for being on the show today. We appreciate you taking time to do this, and we wish you well in Race Across America 2018. And thanks again to Maria for helping on the show. You do a great job. Thanks to you who watched the show. It is your support that has made the show the product that it is. It keeps us encouraged. When you see us on social media and give us likes and pluses or hearts, but especially when you share the show on your social media, you help to out the word about the sport of UltraCycling. Thank you. Now our next show, we're going to keep on heading east, and this time we're going to cross the North Sea and head on over to Denmark and meet with Team Valkyrie. They are a 4-woman team racing in the Race Across America 2018. We believe they're the very first Scandinavian women to make an appearance in the Race Across America. Goodbye, Maria.
Goodbye, Lee. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you in about 10 days.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.